What is going on? Oh, music is still going. Hold on. Technical difficulties. What is going on, everybody? We have another episode of Stats Over Politics, episode 58. The three of us are going to hold it down tonight. Shaun cannot be here, so we're hoping nothing but good things for him. Like I'm into this episode 58 of Stats Over Politics. My name is Kevin Dent, joined with my guys Jaevon, Toddy, and Garry. Garry, I'm taking it to you first, man. How you doing today?
What's up, my guys? How y'all doing? We doing good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of happy, Vaughn. I'm over 500 in my prediction, 7-6. Just updated it right now. My notes, 70-36 the whole year, but I'm glad I'm over 500. But it's all good. I'm good with being wrong on the Niners prediction. I'm all good.
All right, Toddy. So I think we all know how you're doing, but I think we just got to hear it. How are you doing, man? But before you answer this question, let me give a little bit of
tough right off of Monday Night Football.
Toddy is talking to the wife. I need the whiskey. I need it. Bring me the strongest thing you got, baby. I need it. It's gonna be a night. Toddy, how are you feeling? Instant reaction. Not even 20 minutes ago. 49ers lost. How are you feeling?
I feel great. Hotline went 4-0 this weekend.
Okay, yeah.
I can't really complain about it, even though got booty blasted on Monday Night Football, but that's neither here nor there. It is what it is, man. I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out. Everything's all blur right now. I can't, really put into words what's going on.
I'm doing
Prime
great.
Time. The world
people didn't come to hear me. People didn't come to see me. You know who they came to see, Garry? They came to see the man. We have a surprise guest, ladies and gentlemen.
Lie to me?
Surprise guest, ladies and gentlemen. We have Wesley Reynolds on the show.
Oh yeah, Wes talking smack today.
Vikings fan. So, Wes, thanks for coming on to the show, man. We appreciate it. I'm gonna swing it to you first, Wesley. Vikings beat 49ers 22-17.
Right.
Oh my God!
First of all, Kev, thanks for having me on, man. That's all. That's how I wanted to say from the jump. You had me on. I think you believed in us from the jump, so I'm a rock with you, even though you didn't vote for us on the pod earlier this week. I'm a rock with you. I appreciate you having me on, Toddy, baby. It's been
turn your camera horizontal for me, bro.
Oh man, it's been
a weekend, man.
Yeah, it's
yeah. For those of you who don't know what Wesley is getting into, Toddy's also a USC fan, which we will get into later. Toddy's had a rough weekend.
No, man, but it was a fun game, man. I'm happy I got to catch the second half. That boy Addison was playing well. Couldn't guard him.
Mini Stephon.
Could not guard him. Came back from injury and started cooking.
Third receiver for the Vikings with 100 yards on prime time.
Only people know about Jay are USC fans and Viking fans. Those are the only people I know about him.
There you go. I respect that.
Uncle Manny is right. Vaughn looks like he needs a drink.
Man,
Toddy, he needs one. It's been a rough one. So, Toddy, I'm gonna bring it to you, man. What are your initial thoughts on this Vikings game?
So like initially when the Vikings first came out and Kirk throws the pick to Mooney Ward, I'm like, oh, we got him. we got him. It's early. Kirk's throwing picks. I'm like, oh, he knows. I was like, it's prime time, Kirk. This is what he's made for. This is what he does, right? And so, when we're already kind of like in field goal range, red zone-ish range, and then McCaffrey fumbles. I'm like, all right, that's not good. Like, this is like his third fumble. Like, he's been fumbling lately on some like weird shit. Like, he's fumbling the ball when we're supposed to score. Like, he'll fumble at the goal line.
Back-to-back games.
And then he'll fumble. Like, and in scoring position, he's fumbling the ball. I'm like, this is not helping our team. And then so I'm like, all right, so they don't got, I was like, I know they got J.A. Like, J.A. is nice. And Hawkinson's out there. So I'm like, okay. Our D-line should be able to get to Kirk. Kirk is not really a guy that can move. And the Skims boy, who dropped his fucking Skims line right before the game started.
Skims.
He does nothing, non-existent. D-line cannot touch Kirk Cousins. I don't know what it was today. The most immobile quarterback in like the entire NFL. Can't touch him. Like, can't get to him. Can't even like tap him on his shoulder. Nothing. We got Randy Gregory. We got, Jaevon Hargrave. We got Nick Bosa, the Skims boy. And he can't fucking touch him. And I'm just like, what is happening? We can't. And the defense is, linebackers are, the run defense was very minimal and piss poor today. Like Kirk Cousins, I'm pretty sure Wes can give us Kirk's final stat line, but Kirk shredded us the entire game. On third down, he threw for like almost 200 yards on third down. He was 7 for 10 on third down. I couldn't believe what was going on. Like I was just like, okay, we can't stop Kirk Cousins. Like the Carolina Panthers did way better than us, and they are winless. Put up way more of a fight than we ever could have today. Our offense wasn't bad throughout, I would say, like the first half. Second half comes around, we're kind of like not really moving the ball. I mean, for God's sake, we only put up 17 points. So, I mean, we weren't really able to move the ball like we should have. Brock Purdy had the first interception was bad because it was miscommunication on him and Jaevon. Really didn't. I don't know if he didn't know the route or if he thought it was breaking out. Purdy throws the ball and it's an interception. On the last drive when we had a chance to score a touchdown, which I thought we were going to end up driving down the field and scoring, he throws an absolute horrid interception to the same guy. He throws to the same dude.
They're both kind of ugly, Vaughn, to be honest.
And it's just like
that's called being a ball hawk, Vaughn.
And at the same time, it's like, okay, you got to give credit to the Vikings defense, but Jesus Christ, bro, what the fuck are you looking at, bro? Like, it's just like
you seen Shanahan after
it was
his head straight up in the air.
You could go to Moody missed the field goal. We lost by 5 anyway, so it wouldn't really have mattered. He drilled a 55-yarder, but he can't make a fucking 40-yard field goal. I mean, I don't know what it is. Defense looked fucking piss poor today. Couldn't stop Kirk Cousins. Couldn't stop T.J. Hawkinson. Couldn't stop a rookie. Jordan Addison, who had a great game. Kirk Cousins, he was the better quarterback. Vikings were better. O'Connell had a better game plan. Steve Wilkes got fucking cooked on every single board that you could probably think of. It was just an abysmal performance. I don't really know what you really want me to say. We came off a bad loss against the Browns, against a backup quarterback, and, Kirk Cousins, primetime Kirk, I guess he showed up today. And yeah, the Niners pretty much just got smoked on all ends. I feel like the game was close, but like if you kind of watch the game, like the Niners are getting kicked up and down the field from offensive standpoint, defensive standpoint. It was just all the way bad. I mean, McCaffrey, he did what he could, but when you're fumbling in scoring positions, it's like when you're fumbling in the red zone, when you're throwing picks, when you're driving to score. And the Vikings did a really good job of keeping. They had possession for a very long time for most of the game. So like whenever the Vikings had the ball, they would like take off at least 7 minutes of the clock. And they would get point. They didn't punt until like the fourth quarter. It was that bad to where like they were generating scoring drives pretty much on every drive that they had, and they held the ball for a very long time. So kept less possession for Brock Purdy. Hats off to the Vikings. I think you guys are 3-4 now, 3-4.
Yep,
so
3-4.
I mean, if you're looking at that division, the Vikings feel like they still got a shot to maybe even have a chance at winning the division because the Lions just lost too. So Vikings think that they're on top of the world right now, and they don't have their best player, who's supposed to be coming back from IR in a couple of weeks. So Vikings have everything. It's only up from them. They had a slow start, but now they're on a little win streak, and the Niners on a 2-game losing streak. It's a very humbling loss. Not the best team in football. I'd say they're probably 5th, 6th maybe, if I had to go off of top teams right now. It's definitely not the 49ers because you can't win like that, man. When you turn the ball over 3 times, it's hard to beat anybody, especially when Kirk is on and you have 3 turnovers, not gonna be able to beat him. And that's saying a lot because Kirk is fucking god awful in prime time. We just lost to him on Monday Night Football. So
we got a question for you in the comments, Toddy. Our man Cass. Man, what the fuck was going on tonight? Is Brock him, Toddy?
I mean, I'm not ready to say that he's
back games.
It's bad, man. It's not looking good right now. I'm not, gonna jump to conclusions, but Brock Purdy is not playing well at all. It's not good. When he's turning the ball over in key points, to lose the game, like I can't deal with that. When you're like trying to win the game and your quarterback turning the ball over, it's not good. And I'm getting talked like it's Steelers fans talking shit to me. Like, what's going on?
We winning, bro. Back-to-back wins, man.
I don't like. It's just the world is upside down. Is all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's fucking piss poor.
All right, Wes, what you got to say?
Last thing. This win today actually with Jordan Addison, his big game today helped me beat Shaun in fantasy. So that was also I was hoping to say that to him today, but I'm sure he'll see this. So thank you, Shaun. Good. GG's.
Jeez. Thank you for joining us, Wesley. We appreciate you, man.
All right, then, Wes. Have a good one,
Hey,
man.
love listening to y'all, man. Y'all have a good pod. I'm gonna listen to the USC. Hopefully, y'all talk about that.
Oh, we will.
Hey,
we'll see you in the comments.
I want to hear about that. I'm here. Yep.
All right, brother. You have a good one. All right, Gary. So I'm going to bring it to you next. What were your initial thoughts after seeing the Vikings defeat the 49ers 22-17?
Man, I was joking around with all the Niner fans. Like, it should be an easy one, right? It should be an easy one. Everyone was very confident. And to be honest, as you see my pick, I picked the Niners, like I mentioned when the pod first started. And to be honest with you, they came out lackadaisical in the sense where, like, Christian McCaffrey's been playing great this season. And as Von mentioned in his opening statement, that he came last game too, had a fumble, and it was on a good drive. Same thing in this situation, on a good drive towards the red zone. And that leaves a bad taste in your mouth as you're a Niner fan, because it's not starting off on a great foot right now. And to be honest with you, it's a shocking. I'm really shocked they got this L, to be honest with you, Kev, because I'm pretty sure everyone and their moms bet tonight that the Niners probably win. But I've been hearing all these chats, Brock Purdy 30, he's going to score 30 off a loss. I really thought they were going to come and win off for a loss, but you can never estimate a couple things. You can't underestimate Monday Night Football. You can't, that solo stage. You can't underestimate playing at home in the Vikings, and also I wrote down here, don't forget, I think Kirk's on his last year deal, I think, Kev. So at the end of the day, he's going to have to play great, and he played great tonight. 378 yards, 35 for 45 attempts. He had one interception that was pretty ugly, to be honest with you, but he had 2 TDs, and he was really Kirk usually tends to fall down at these moments. And I really thought this was made for you guys, man. I was like, all right, they had no timeouts, but 1:14 left. They missed the field goal. Obviously, Kirk can't get them closer. Obviously, they just missed the field goal. It just sounds like Vikings things happening. And this is a chance right here, Purdy. I think the first throw he missed. He had a second good throw, but you know what? You got to give, like Von said, hats off to this defense. Vikings were all over everything. And like Kyle Shanahan mentioned, I was watching the Manning cast. I like watching that, to be honest with you. And then, they mentioned Shanahan mentioned that this would have been a great Debo game because, he's a dual threat. And you can't ask no one else, like we mentioned before. You can't ask. And I know there has been rumblings in Niner Nation. I'm pretty sure he mentioned it too as well, how Ayuk might be the number one guy. Well, Ayuk ain't the number one guy. It's just clear as fact as day, because this guy Debo is special because you can use him in the running game and you can use him obviously in the receiving game, as he is paid as such, as he got to deal with the Niners. So you can see he was hurting tonight, and the Niners needed him. To be honest, you just looked kind of weird, man. Like you got to blame that last one on Brock. Clearly, Peyton Manning called it. He forced it, and they even called right before he said, "This is what you can't do. You can't force it if they're playing zone. You got to wait it out. You can, what I'm saying? That's what got Peyton Manning basically said, rookie got caught. Quick. Ricky got caught, and he's gonna need a couple of these because he hasn't been in these situations. We were asking for this, and we asked for this from Jalen Hurts. I was asking this before this year, and Jalen Hurts delivered in multiple times in multiple situations. Now proving that you can win in different ways. You can win when you're down. You can win on a comeback. You can win in a 2-minute drill. Because no matter what, talent is great and all, but we all have seen the great quarterbacks from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes. The 2-minute drill when your team needs it. No matter you played bad that game, poor, great that game, however you play that game, the 2-minute drill matters the most. And you got to give credit where credit's due. Vikings defense stopped this, and Niners couldn't get in position. They needed a touchdown. They even got lucked up with the field goal. They didn't have to even hit the field goal. I was like, oh, this is the one key thing I think that we're missing here too. Playing at home, like I mentioned, man, that crowd, I think they're mentioning they be pumping the noise or whatever, but they made them use a timeout in the opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, a couple delayed games too.
And that cost them right there. That timeout would have been crucial towards the end. So, just a couple mishaps for the Niners. Obviously, like Von mentioned, the Niners are still a good team. But today we got to stomp on y'all for being losing, just like I get stomped on for my Steelers losing. So we're going to stomp on you guys for losing today. But overall, you guys are still a good team. You guys are still a good team. But back-to-back losses is not a good thing. What'd you say, Von?
Are the Steelers 5-2?
Oh, we're 4-3, yeah. We're 4-2.
You had to buy.
Okay.
So, Gary, before we move on, Uncle Manny got a question for you. Is Jimmy G better than Purdy?
Let's not do this.
Oh, nah. We seen what Jimmy G's doing in Raider Lane. I think he's not even playing right. He's injured again. So he would have been deep shit. Brock Purdy would have been there. If he was still there, Brock Purdy still would have been getting the sets. Brock Purdy has proven way more, I think, already than Jimmy G's already in a Niner uniform, to be honest. You could just the wins, they both were winning in a Niner uniform, but you could tell I feel like Brock Purdy, he's going through his growing pains that Jimmy G could never go through because he wasn't as good to get to that level. I feel like that's why I feel like Brock Purdy has shown that he's a little bit better than Jimmy G. That's why he beat him out for the job twice at this point.
Kaz agrees with you.
I give it to him.
He says Purdy might be a little bit fraudulent, but there's no way he's better than Jimmy G.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, we sat here on this very podcast.
Okay.
And I told Garry, I see it.
He did. He bombed
this
year. I think he was
line
messing up that day.
is fucking fraudulent. This O-line has not played a good front. We saw last night with the Browns. Purdy saw none but white jerseys. We saw it tonight. Purdy saw nothing but purple jerseys in his face. This O-line without Trent Williams looks horrendous. So you guys are going to have to find a way to get healthy quick. The one thing that I would say that was positive from this game is that CMC played every offensive snap. I know there was a lot of
got sacked one time tonight, by the way.
There's a lot of pressures.
Yeah, but
it would have been a fumble if his knee didn't touch the ground. I'm saying there was a lot of times he had to get rid of the ball.
For Trent Williams not playing, the O-line actually played solid. It's just Purdy made some horrendous ass throws tonight.
So it's Purdy's fault that Daniel Hunter just blew through the hole. He was supposed to block him. He didn't pick up the gap.
We only got sacked once. I mean,
I'm just saying.
Stats over politics.
There was a couple one time. Pressures are a stat, Toddy. Quarterback hits are a stat. Just because they're not sacks don't mean Purdy wasn't getting his white jersey dirty.
We got sacked.
But moving on, this like Garry mentioned, this arena was rocking from the very jump. There were the delay of games. This team had the Niners number all night, and it came up from the jump. And I think this game really came down to before half when we saw Addison just steal the ball from Ward, was it?
That was a fucking crazy play.
From Ward. So I think that's really where the game changed. That was a huge momentum shift. You can see in the back of the replay a Niners teammate jumping up and down thinking they got the pick. And next thing you know, Jordan Addison's running down the sideline. So before we move on, Todd, are there any closing thoughts on this tragic Monday night for you?
Got the Bengals next week, so it gets better, right? So I don't know, man. I mean, Purdy threw for 272. So, I mean, the stats aren't terrible. It's just the 2 picks, bro. Like, he had he had 2 really bad throws tonight. I think, and those really bad throws,
that's being honest,
like those really bad throws decided the game. Had two chances to win the game, and he threw picks on both drives. So we can't have that. And by the way, the Niners need to call Robbie Gould. I get Jake Moody drilled a 54-yarder, but like if you're gonna miss a field goal a game, like the shit's gonna start to add up, and I'm just gonna be like, I can't fucking deal with that. So
it's just like the Cowboys kicker last year. But Garry, you said you had to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I was just saying, just one from the Vikings angle, real quick for West, man. Jordan Addison, and when Justin Jefferson comes back,
Addison the mini Stephon, people are gonna start to realize like he's
also. Oh, if he gets Stephon, then he might want his own team because remember he was here too, and then he went to go get his own team. So I don't know, but I just wanted to say to that, and yeah, let's see who gets to be the quarterback because Kirk's trying to keep his career alive. Man, give me another contract.
Man, they waived it. Kirk said he's not waiving. There's no trade clause. Man, they think they have enough in that building to win. We hear all the news all week saying, "Are the Vikings going to be shoppers?" Last week we got a factor cap saying, "Is it time for the Vikings to give up on Kirk Cousins?" And like my man Toddy says, life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. Last week, he was like, ship him off. Caleb Williams this, Caleb Williams that. And yeah, now we're here. So like I said, life comes at you fast, ladies and gentlemen. So moving on to the next game. As everybody knows, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dolphins 31-17. So if you guys don't mind, fellas, I'm going to go ahead and take this one first. So on the Dolphins perspective, missing 3 O-linemen, number 1 rushing offense in the NFL. Their past 5 games rushing 162 yards, 3 touchdowns, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns, 142 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So having all this offense coming in, they scored the 70 points. They now have this narrative. This team could be one of the best offenses we've ever seen to touch the blade of grass.
That's right.
And then you come into the link. So this defense really stepped up when we needed to do. Shaun Desai, man, hell of a fucking game. Hell of a game. I mentioned all those numbers for the Dolphins rushing against us. 45 yards, no touchdowns. We literally shut down that run from the jump. Hassan Reddick was all over the place. His last 4 games, 2 sacks, 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 2 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 5 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles, 1 sack. He is all over the place. And like Toddy's doing for the audio-only listeners, wiping his hand off his forehead, my man Josh Sweats. 5.5 sacks. Second, tied with Hassan Reddick for the most sacks on this team. He had 2 sacks on Sunday night. And I've come on here week in and week out and talked about how I don't know how the NFL let this happen. They wanted us to go back to the bowl. Jalen Carter fell to 10. And let me tell you some of these stats. Through 7 weeks, 91.3 grade, the number 1 defensive tackle. 22% win rate, number 1 against all defensive tackles. A 10.8 pass rush productivity per snap, number 1 for defensive tackles. While we're talking about Philly, talking about the Bulldogs, let's talk about the Philly Bulldogs. Nolan Smith, Toddy, he played 4 snaps. What did he do in those 4 snaps? 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 quarterback hit. This team is coming up alive on defense. We are the 2nd ranked defense against the run following the 49ers, but I think that might be a little bit different coming up here soon. We're seeing some holes in the Niners defense. But this offense, when I tell you guys that first drive, 3rd down, 9 yards to go on the goal line. We got Julio, AJ to the right, Dallas and Smitty to the left, Swift in the backfield. I'm like, oh, it's coming. Guess what's coming? A quarterback draw. Ends in 3. It was heartbreaking. You know, what do we bring Julio in here for? Just to go out there and block? We have to do something. But Brian Johnson had one of those masterclass games. Jalen Hurts to go out there for 23 for 31, 279 yards, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns, and also rushed for 21 yards. He's looking like the MVP out there. He's doing it on both ends or both ways. He's running it. He's throwing it through the air. And A.J. Brown, he could be a top 2 receiver in the NFL. He might not be number 2. 10 catches, 137 yards, 13.7 per catch, 1 touchdown, 5th straight game with 125 yards. We talked about Tyreek Hill being one of Calvin Johnson's records. Well, A.J. Brown did that. For the 5th straight game with 125 yards, ties Calvin Johnson. So this team is playing just when we need them to really lock in. And Devontae Smith finally fucking showed up. It's looked ugly. The first catch was a drop. And I said, oh, shit, here we go again. But he showed up, and I really think Nick Sirianni is the perfect coach for this team. Yes, I love Dougie P, Super Bowl winning coach. But 4th and 1 on our 25-yard line, up 7 points, fuck a punt. Jalen Hurts, put your head down. Let's go get this first down, and let's go drive down and win this game. So, Toddy, I'm going to bring it to you next. What were your thoughts on the Eagles defeating the Dolphins 31-17?
Yeah, I mean, the brotherly shove, I mean, I've said it even going back to a couple of podcasts or however long it goes. Not everybody can do what the Eagles do because your quarterback squats 600 pounds and you have probably the best center in the league. So, and pretty much with that combination, that kind of what makes it unstoppable. And we even saw Sirianni in the post game. They were saying, you know, everybody else does it and it doesn't work, but when we do it, pretty much works all the time. So as far as the game goes, I thought the Eagles pretty much dominated. I thought Jalen Hurts had some bad turnovers. I've kind of been seeing the little breadcrumbs of him just having bad turnovers in most games, but they just say, fuck it, I'm going to throw it to A.J. Brown, and then A.J. Brown goes for like 150 yards pretty much every game. So he wasn't really getting the ball earlier in the season because they're kind of trying to establish the run, and that's pretty much the Eagles' game plan. And that opens up plays for A.J. Brown to kind of, you know, those big plays down the sideline to him, to Smitty, Goddard, and pretty much opens up the offense when the run game is going pretty well. The Eagles gave the ball to DeAndre Swift a lot more. I think he had 15 carries for about 64 yards. And I thought they just made Tua look like Tua. I think a lot of people were, pretty high on Tua, and I was like, well, if you look at the Dolphins wins, it's like, oh, they beat the Broncos, the Giants. They beat a bunch of, piss poor teams that I wasn't really too high on. They haven't really played a team. I mean, the team that they played that's, a lot of people consider, one of the top teams in the AFC, the Bills, they got fucking dog walked by the Bills. And then, they played a real team on Sunday night, and the Philadelphia Eagles, they got smacked. And that was the reason why I put the Eagles on, to be the last team on the hotline, which made us, we didn't have 4-0 weekend, by the way. I just thought the Eagles were just a better team. They just looked better. I feel like they're a team that contends for championships. The Dolphins are more like, they're a nice team, very fast. They got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, all these fast guys. But, I feel like they're a little bit more finesse. But when they get punched in the mouth, it looks bad. And that's on all accounts, to win. Tua's throwing picks. And, they held Tyreek Hill to under 100 yards. 88 yards and a touchdown for most people is a very good game. But to Tyreek Hill, he said he has to be better. It's unacceptable for him. So you can see the standard that he holds himself to. And I just think the Eagles, they kind of just beat the shit out of the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. That's pretty much what happened.
All right, Garry, I'll take it to you next. What are your thoughts on the Eagles defeating the Dolphins 31-17?
Yep, I picked the Eagles for you, kid. Not for you, but I picked the Eagles off of, but I did exactly what I thought was happening with the Niners. Off a loss, a good team coming off a loss, always play, 10 times harder the next week. And, obviously Philly was at home too, so that's obviously a plus advantage for them as well. And you know what? It comes down, I wrote down right here, right in my notes, come down to Miami's defense, man. Miami's defense has been the problem. It's been one of the problems here for when they play good teams. They're not be able to stop the good teams, as you can see today. They can get ran on. They get pretty much anything done to them at the moment. They can play solid, but they're missing those two guys right now, like they're gonna get back, and Jalen Ramsey, and I forgot the other guy's name right now, but they got two guys coming back, obviously, to the Miami. What you say?
Howard.
Yeah, Howard. There you go. Howard coming back as well. So those two obviously going to help this team in areas of need. But obviously, I was looking at I was watching Coach McDaniels. He's a cool guy to listen to. He sees a little swagger and everything on the sidelines and things of that nature that go viral on the internet. But so I like to hear what he says, one of the young coaches in this league, and he blamed it on obviously the coach. This team is young. We also got to realize this team is young. So that's no excuse. But I do feel like they're getting the learning lessons they need, to be honest with you, versus the good teams. They're not getting. They got smacked versus the Bills, but that's in division. That's bound to happen. They've kind of had their number so far, but this game right here, this was a pretty close game. Instead, the last touchdown kind of put it out of place. But I feel like they were fighting here at moments. I also wanted to mention, like Kev mentioned, AJ Brown is him. I don't know if he's number one, Kev, but man, he up there. He's him. Tyreek didn't have the best of game. He still had a pretty solid game. 88 yards. Sounds like it's not. 88 yards is like nothing, I guess, but I guess nowadays, but what he's been doing, so it's actually a bad game for him. But overall, they missed on it. This game was really close, Kev. You got to admit, this game was really close. Couple catches here and that long ball was just missed. I think one Tyreek was his fault, to be honest with you. He missed that long ball he could have brought in, and so this game could have flipped the other way. But you got to give credit to where credit to do, like Kev mentioned too. They were able to rush the ball and they were able to control the clock. I wrote it down here. 36 minutes to 23 minutes was really going back to Eagles, how we kind of seen them win last year. Grind it out and let Jalen Hurts be special when time is needed. And man, I don't know if I like this Philly special, Kev. I don't know, whatever they Philly push, whatever. The Burley Shark. I've been seeing a lot of I've seen both sides, and you can see athletes. There's a lot of guys in the league already on both sides. So I'm like, I see some people mention the injury aspect. I'm like, okay. But also, I like how your coach said it. Not everyone can do it. If you can stop it, stop it. If you can't, because there's teams trying to do it and they can't do it right. So, you don't want to give that, got to give credit to that. So, because literally it's feeling like, all right, on 1st and 9. Every drive starts first and 9. Even first in 8, because if it's 1.5, they're still going for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very big advantage for them. So you got to give them credit for finding a niche right now that's really helping them and making the game easier for them. One of these times, I think they used it. They used it. What? The one of these times they're gonna fake out of it again. I think they faked out already one time before.
This week,
I think
this week, yeah. But yeah,
and they said they shouldn't have used that for later on, which probably should have. Hey, maybe they just wanted to run it and see if it works one time. So one of these times it's probably going to come out crucial, and one of these times everyone's going to get on them when they stop them, kid. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be everyone, yeah, finally they stopped them. But until that moment comes, they're going to keep using it, and other people are going to keep using it. And you know what? I'm going to let, obviously, NFL is going to decide if it's safe or not. You know what I'm saying? If it's not safe, I agree it should be taken out. If it's that big of like injury factor of like guys pushing each other's backs and things like that. To be honest with you, that kind of happens on any push and anything like that. So it's kind of like, I guess it's really if you want your quarterback to be put through that, you know, basically getting shoved through and things of that nature. And Jalen Hurts, you got to give him credit; he'd be going through that. So those are things I wanted to. One thing I want to mention from Miami too, offensively, like Kev mentioned, you know, he mentioned all the stats and how basically they got shut down this weekend on offense in some which way, not fully shut down, but in some way shut down. And I think you gotta give Miami. Miami has to look at this where like they're dominating the good teams as they should, which is great for you. That's a good sign in a good team. So that's why I agree with their coach, and they're just young. It's not like they're fumbling these losses. You know, these are bad losses. These are good losses to have. You know, you don't want a loss in the NFL, but this is a good loss to have. And I feel like the blueprints getting made on them, how to stop them, obviously, the back-to-back good games, like Bills and Eagles, good teams beating you. I think that the offense has to involve, you know, like when people are not falling for the pre-snap stuff, Vaughn, then, you know, they got to involve to, you know, to get better. So they got so many weapons. Like you said earlier, when people are getting physical with them and beating the finesse out of them, they kind of do like what you guys do. You guys have physicality most of the time and finesse. They got to get that physical part on their offense because right now they're just finesse. And once like you said, when someone hits them in the mouth, it's pretty much, and it's not looking good for them when the big dogs come through. So they got to be able to, they got it in the building. I feel like that's one good thing to say. They got it in the building. They got the coaching staff. They just got to take that next evolution in their offense. It might take another year, but I feel like it's there in Miami.
Yeah, so we got some comments we got to get to. Uncle Manny, to all your own listeners, the Dolphins have beaten a bunch of scrubs. Gary mentioned it earlier. They played a 2-4 Chargers, 2-5 Patriots, 0-5 Broncos, or 2-5 Broncos, 0-6 Panthers. Excuse me. Two teams with winning divisions or winning records. Excuse me, were the Bills and us, and those were the two losses. Kazi, I said it before. This game was a must-win, dominant performance, even while not playing our best football on oath. Defense is amazing. Just taking what I said. Defense is amazing. Defense is amazing. Does that sound right to you guys? Because it just got better. The Titans. Thank you. Thank you. Whatever side deal is going on for Tennessee to Philly, keep it going, Vrabel. If you get a ring when we win, or if you ever get fired, you get the DC. Whatever it is doing, I'm here for it. I love it. Kevin Byard. We traded Terrell Edmonds in a 2024 5th and 6th round for Kevin Byard, born and raised in Philadelphia, 27 career picks since being drafted in 2016, all pro in 2017 and 2021. Last season, coming off 116 tackles and leading the team with 4 picks. This might be the best secondary in football. We come on here week in and week out and say how we have holes in our secondary. This fills that hole. So our secondary is now James Bradbury, Darius Slay, Reed Blankenship, and Kevin Byard. This defense is getting scary, and Shaun Desai is sitting at home with his feet back saying,
they're patching up,
I'm
kid.
looking forward to it.
They're going for it right now, man. They're going for it. Let's see. Let's see, Kaz. Let's see if it's worth it all, man.
It's time to do it. So, last game we're going to really fully dive into is the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Chargers 31-17. Toddy, I'm going to bring it to you first. What were your thoughts?
The Chiefs back. I mean,
Nico's back.
Patty threw for 400. 4 touchdowns, classic Pat. Late game window. It's kind of a primetime game. After all the 10 o'clock games, Chiefs are on. I thought Herbert played pretty well. I just thought the play calling was really bad. I don't think Brandon Staley is any good. The Chargers I feel like their roster is really good. Like, if you look at their defensive roster, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack.
They're just not getting it done.
I think Asante Samuel Jr. is pretty good. I just don't know why it's not working at all. Like, you have the quarterback. I feel like Herbert's pretty good. Austin Eckler's kind of been in and out of injury, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I mean, Kelly, the backup running back, Kelly had like a 60-yard run. So I mean, he's really good. So they got Keenan Allen. Palmer's been making plays. Everett's making plays. You'd like to see a little bit more from the rookie and Quentin Johnson. But I mean, Their roster's not bad. I don't know why they're not, able to win any of these games. They're 2-4 right now. It's just like, what do you? It's really tough to say on why this team isn't doing good, and I feel like it all starts with the head coach. Chargers are 2-4. I feel like they should be a lot better. I feel like a bunch of people had them in that wild card position because I think Justin Herbert's just really talented. I feel like most of us can agree on that. Justin Herbert's really good at football. So, pretty much whenever these two usually go at it, the Chargers they'll be in the game close, but then Patty and the guys pretty much find a way to win. I mean, I'll say this about Patrick Mahomes. On third down, I think he's like the best quarterback statistically when it's like third and long, because he usually uses his legs to extend drives if there's nothing there. Pretty much, they had like a 3rd and 21, and they pretty much, I think it was like 3rd and 15. They just had all of their DBs like at the first down marker, and pretty much what he did was he just dropped back and ran for the first down. I think he had someone like block for him for the first down. I was just like, bro, like, yeah, how do you stop that? It's just, when Patty and Kelsey had like 150 at halftime, like, what are we talking about? Taylor Swift is throwing fucking handshakes with Patrick Mahomes' wife, and
chest bumps.
The broadcast can't get. They lived for shit like that. They couldn't wait for her to do some shit like that. And I feel like the shit looks genuine. Like she actually looks like she's enjoying herself at these games. So, I don't know, man. It's just Chiefs are rolling, man. And when the Chiefs start rolling, things get scary in the AFC. Like it's just like, all right, damn, we got to go to fucking Arrowhead in the playoffs again.
Arrowhead Invitational.
So,
man, no more Burrowhead, huh? I guess we're gonna leave that in the past.
We'll see.
One time ever.
We'll see.
So we have some comments. So Toddy, I'm gonna bring it to you first. Uncle Manny says, "What do you think the Chargers' problem is?" So Toddy, I'm gonna bring it to you first. What are the not San Diego Chargers? What are the Chargers' problems?
I might as well go back.
Yeah, coaching. I feel like Brandon Staley is just. I don't think he's that good. I think a lot of people could say that. I named all the guys on the roster. Like their roster is good. Like if you were to play on Madden, I know Kevin plays Madden a lot. You would pick the Chargers because, like, you got a bunch of all these dudes over there,
and the offense too.
So I mean, it's just like, why is this not working? It's just there's no reason why this shouldn't work. And you're starting to see a little bit of years. Herbert just signed his contract. This is not their first rodeo. So it's just like when you got guys like Keenan Allen on your team, Austin Eckler on your team, Herbert at quarterback, like you should be winning games. And they weren't winning games with Anthony Lynn. They fired Anthony Lynn and they brought in Brandon Staley so they could win the games. But nothing changed. They're still losing. They're 2-4 right now. And it's frustrating for Chargers fans because, I don't want to bet them because I'm like, I don't trust them because they lose these weird games, these, primetime games that they're in. Even in the close games that they're supposed to be in, they'll make it really close to where it's like a 1-score game and it comes down to like the final drive. So, yeah, I think it's coaching, and do they just promote Kellen Moore to the head coaching job? I'm not so sure about that. Or you go and find a guy. I feel like this would have been the perfect team that Sean Payton could have went to if he would have just waited a year. But the whole
money talks
situation. Yeah, they showed him the bag.
He said he wanted to go there. I think
they showed him the bag, and it was so he went to the nice stuff with Russell Wilson.
So, Gary, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs defeating the Chargers 31-17?
It's becoming a regular thing, y'all. Y'all just sleeping on the availability, whatever. Basically the future talent. I'm telling you guys, this is the Super Bowl champion sitting in front of your face right here. They're 5-1. They lost again to Detroit Lions team that just got slaughtered this weekend by Lamar Jackson, and they lost by that point by 1 point. And they didn't have their best defensive guy nor the best receiver. So you take that what you want to make with that. And the Dynasty doing regular stuff, man. It's trying to get to the point where it's just being regular. And Patrick Mahomes is not really in the MVP conversation in terms of people mention his name, but he should be obviously mentioned in it because they're winning because of him. We've already talked about how they were trying to, create a problem with them, saying basically there's no wide receivers on this team. There's no wide receivers, but Patrick Mahomes is pulling the Brady. He'll make anyone look good and just throw anyone to me, and I got you. I'll make them look good as long as you give my tight end. Like, used to have Gronk back in the day at certain sets. Edelman, he's not a tight end. But if you just give me one of my guys that I trust that's, not overly like talented or great, like they used to have Tyreek Hill, that type of caliber, just give him all reliable. And the Travis Kelce, like y'all mentioned, he's going to go crazy. He's going even more crazier since I know the stats are coming out, since Taylor Swift has been dating, whatever you want to say, man. That's just all entertainment. Only becomes a negative when it's affecting the field, and it's just been nothing but positive for these guys, really. So it just, the thing about them is, they're going to be able to keep hungry? Because remember, they're champions. They won last year. Are you going to be able to keep hungry towards the end of the season? The one good thing about them is they've tasted that loss, winning a championship, going up, versus the Buccaneers, thinking it's all gravy, and when you're not all your ducks not in line, boom. So they already got that taste in their mouth already. So I think they're already wide open. They're already ready for this moment. They're already built for this moment. And, so 4 TDs from Patrick Mahomes, didn't even really rush the ball that much. They're just more efficient, as simple as that. The scary thing about it, guys, to be also honest, and I didn't even know this, but going into the season when I picked them, I remember they had a solid D, and their defense has always been just come in the right times. Just give Patrick Mahomes a little bit. It's like back in the day, like just come. If you just want to you have a great quarterback, you want your defense. You don't have to be number one defense. You just want your defense to come in clutch moments. You know what I'm saying? Get that stop, get that drive killer when it's needed for your offense to be back out there. Scary part, they got a great defense. So you ain't got to do too much. And he just does, like, the thing that people sleep on Patrick Mahomes, you always mention the crazy plays that Vonny mentioned. He does something crazy to, always picks up that fourth down, always picks up third down with his legs on the run, crazy. He look like he does no looks, all those crazy things they do. But he, one thing that, that always kind of had the hiccups they always talked about, and they were still winning even when he had these hiccups. But like, he always mentioned this, like, and I feel like all these other quarterbacks are trying to mimic him with the big plays and things of nature, but they don't know, like, you got to take the small stuff. I feel like he took that, ripped that page after the book from Tom Brady. Like, probably asked, everyone knows it, but it's easy to say, harder to do. All the quarterbacks mention, like, taking the check down, taking the easy throw. It's right there. It's easy, but I want the big one. I want the 60-yard bomber. You know what I'm saying? To make the highlight Sports Center. But, when you can balance both of those, that's when you get dangerous, and that's when you get the defense on their heels, and they have no clue what's happened. So it sucks from the Chargers point of stand of view. Like my uncle mentioned, what is the problem here? I think I kind of agree with Vaughn. You can always blame it on coaching, I guess. I hate to blame it on coaching, but it's obviously been so relevant in the last few years, so blatant that, something you just can't really blame on Herbert. It also sucks for Herbert because the guys, if they get rid of him again, they get a whole new coach staff. I think it's his third OC or something like that. It's just like, man, what are you doing for the guy? Guy is so talented. He's being so great. He's getting tarnished now with these losses. People are starting to bring the fire to him. And, why aren't you, overcoming your coach? Because you got this person, you got that person on offense, your defense, like Vaughn mentioned, got these star-studded names. And it's a double whammy when your coach is a defensive coach and, and he's not getting it done. So it's a tough one for them to swallow. They're 2-4. It's looking tough. We already know how AFC is, so it's already looking tough as it is. We know the division is pretty much a wrap now. So maybe to give yourself a chance, you go, you're 3-3, you beat KC, you keep them, you get them an extra L, you're still fighting in that wild card spot. So it's going to be tough for them to battle back in the season. One good thing is I still believe in Justin Herbert. I still think he's a great quarterback. It just sucks to see him keep losing. And you gotta put pressure on him too. It's his fault too. Obviously, he's on this team. He's taking the L's with him. So it seems like they just need. It sucks to say, but didn't the culture change? I don't know. The culture seems good. So it's like, but why isn't that translating to the field? Are they soft? Like, what are the things they feel like they need to? The small things. I feel like the small things are missing. And the small things like Vaughn mentioned, kind of like has talked about earlier, is the coaching. Use small things will make great teams from good to great. So that's what they're missing here clearly. So. That's what the Chargers need to do. They're going to have to do something. They got to draft some people. Stop trying to buy guys out. Maybe if you draft, you see the good teams. The good teams draft guys and, build them within too, because you can't be paying people too. Right now they're paying a lot of people and winning ain't happening. So you know how that goes. But owners don't like that. Straight up. Owners do not like that. That's when people start getting fired left and right. So let's smell that around the corner. But I don't know how. Do you guys think they fire somebody mid-season?
Something's going to have to change. Something's going to have to change. We're getting
Who they play next week? Who play next week? Because if they go 2-5, then it's looking pretty much it's a done deal. Oh, you see, like they got Chicago and they got the Jets.
Those should be 2 wins. So
and then they got the Lions though. So
Kazzy says, Chiefs are for real, for real. Their defense is nice, and their offense is led by a top quarterback of all time, and a top tight end of all time, and a top coach of all time. Uncle Manny saying, looking forward, that Chiefs versus Eagles game on 11/20 will be fire. And then I guess we're going to have to put the flame out. I think it's it's either get out of the way or get ran the fuck over. Marcellus, I'm not okay. Pray for my Niners.
Oh my God.
Kyle is struggling against a blitzing defensive coordinator.
Oh, I'm blaming the coach, Kyle. Come on now. It's Kyle's fault.
Hey, it's Niner fans, man.
Now it's Kyle's fault, Von.
Turn on you quick. They wanted you to win Coach of the Year, and now it's all your fault. Man. So, talking week 7, let's recap some of these games quickly. So, Potty, your Saints go down to the Jags, 31-24.
I'm done with the Saints. I am I am putting them on the back burner. I'm done, bro. This is
back burner. Dropping bond. No back burner.
Derek Carr is just. You look at his stats and it'll be like, oh, he threw for 300 yards. But if you watch that game, it was just. He's screaming at Chris Olave when he throws the ball out of bounds, and I'm just like, what are you?
10 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, what are you doing, bro? And just you got Mike Thomas, you got AK. I think AK is like leading running backs in like receiving, and he missed 3 games, so that just shows you how good AK actually is. But I mean, the Saints team has so much potential, and it's just like you brought in Derek Carr, you paid him a ton of money to be mid as fuck, pretty much, and it's just like, you know, Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be hurt. It was a game time decision for him. He came out and he pretty much, you know, the stats really didn't show how well that he played, but I mean, Trevor Lawrence was a difference in this game. And they ended up winning. Travis Etienne, Trevor's is actually a little brother at Florida, who's actually really good too. You know, had 2 touchdowns in this game. And, you know, the Jags just went into, you know, on Thursday Night Football and pretty much just, you know, threw the Saints around like a rag doll. So I'm giving up on the Saints. Saints are not there. They better pray that they can scrape into the playoffs, because I don't even – that division is just like anyone can win, and I couldn't tell you who wins the division.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Since we're on the division, Garry, I'm going to take it to you next. The Falcons beat the Bucs 16-13.
Falcons beat the Bucs. Trying to see who would I call. I think I got this one wrong. Falcons beat the Bucs. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got this one. I got the Bucs. But the Falcons, man, they've been a sneaky team that's been fighting every week. They're not doing what they need to do, to be honest.
I hate them.
They need to be losing. They need to be losing, and they're 4-2. Wait, I'm 4-3. So I'm like, they should be losing. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Some of these games, when they just get to the point of the season, your record's looking shitty. I don't really try to watch y'all, but the Falcons, you got to watch them because they got some guys on fantasy that really be killing it. And to be honest with you, they're just a team that, you know, 2 bad teams really played each other, and they lucked out. Really, they played a good game, but again, Younghoe Koo. Woo, again, my guy. That guy always kicking clutch field goals, man. Wow. Going crazy for his team. And yeah, you got to give Falcons credit. They're fighting it, scratch and clawing. Like Von mentioned, that division's up for grabs. So again, Baker Mayfield doing Baker Mayfield things again. I don't know. Don't know really what's So I think the main thing is you got to give Desmond Ridder. I think, you know, you got to give him some props. He's been playing out of his mind, secretly and quietly. You know, maybe he's trying to keep his job, not for them to be in the draft. So that's good for him. So yeah, again, Baker Mayfield doing at 27 for 42. Not looking too good. 1 for 1. Just looking like back. They're trying to figure them out again. So, again, both of these teams should be in the lottery. So, if I was their fan base, I would not. I'm happy if I'm the Bucs. I am not happy if I'm Atlanta. But, hey, Desmond's looking like he's like a guy maybe. Who knows?
The Baker Mayfield tweet is still in the drafts.
So, the Chicago Bears beat the Las Vegas Raiders 30-12. And I'll take this one. Shout out to Chicago, man. You know, none of us took them to win because there was going to be no Justin Fields. So everyone's thinking the Raiders are going to just come over and bull rush this team. They have a Division II quarterback in Tyson Bagent, and he went out there and put on a fucking show. 21 of 29, 162 yards and 1 touchdown. Not only did he put on a show, Dante Foreman, 89 yards, 16 carries, 5.5 per carry with 2 touchdowns. If you had him on fantasy, you lucked out. A lot of people were talking about sitting DJ Moore because, like I mentioned, no Justin Fields. 8 catches for 54 yards. Darnell Movie, 4 for 32. This team is looking like they're not really ready to take that step, But I hate that the narrative is now going to be we don't need Justin Fields because Justin Fields is gone. We're now one. This dude's 1-0, and it took Justin Fields 20 games to win one. So now this narrative's got to come, and it's going to be horrible. But from the Raiders' perspective, Brian Hoyer, it's time to hang him up, man. This team it went all in on Jimmy. There were news that they tried to go in for that first overall pick. This team needs a quarterback. Like Garry mentioned, we were talking about the Falcons. This is a team that at this point just needs to call it. Josh Jacobs is a man that we look in the mirror and you don't know who you're looking at. For him to be the league leader in rushing yards and for him to just put up subpar numbers throughout this so far, it's really bad to see. You see Devontae Adams dropping touchdowns. This is just a negative environment, and it's spread to your players. Max Crosby's not playing well. Devontae Adams isn't playing well. Josh Jacobs isn't playing well. So this is just becoming a negative domino effect, and it's continuously going to hurt the Raiders. So they need to kind of figure out where they're going to go, if they're either going to tank or they're going to try to go all in and try to make a move. So, Toddy, I'm going to bring it to you next. Browns beat the Colts 39-38.
This Browns team, bro. I really can't. I don't know what to think about this Browns team. Are they better without Deshaun Watson? Like, Deshaun comes in, he looks god awful when the game first starts. Before he got hurt, like he looked bad, and then gets hurt, goes in concussion protocol, and then he gets cleared to come back in the game, but they hold him out of the game. PJ Walker's kind of in the game, and I think PJ, how many he threw for like he threw for 178, and he threw for a pick, but I mean. They were moving the ball pretty much up and down, and Deshaun's on the sideline with a big ass jacket on it in an indoor field. By the way, I just want to let that be known. I have no idea.
To point that out to me too.
Yeah, I was very confused on what was going on, but I feel like the difference was Myles Garrett in this game. Getting that fumble recovery for a touchdown in the end zone was pretty much the game. The Browns got some very, very questionable calls go their way. Towards the end on that last drive. But I feel like it kind of came down to, Myles Garrett and, the defensive touchdown that they had. I feel like if they wouldn't have gotten that, then the Colts wouldn't have really been, in that predicament. And, yeah, it was pretty much, two backup quarterbacks going at it in this game. And you thought Deshaun Watson would have made a difference, but somehow the Browns are 4-2, and their quarterback has – the quarterback that they've traded like 3 first-round picks for – and gave $230 million guaranteed to, has been playing god awful. And they are somehow, I think they're tied for first in the division. If I'm not mistaken, Garry would know that. But yeah, Browns win. I had them on my parlay.
No, we're tied, yeah.
So for the next game, the New York Giants defeat the Washington Commanders 14-7. Since I am the NFC East guy, I'm going to take this game. And I wanted to come on here and talk about this game for one reason and one reason only. Daniel Jones' ass. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor needs to be the starting quarterback moving forward. It's a whole different offense when you see Tyrod Taylor out there. For him to go 18 of 29, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones has 2 passing touchdowns on the whole season. He's played however many games so far, and Tyrod's played 1. So just to see some excitement, some flow, we saw Jalen Hyatt go. They go up and get a receiver in Jalen Hyatt. He puts on number 13. And he wanted to be that deep threat. We saw him in Tennessee, him and Hendon Hooker hooking up against Alabama time after time after time. Now he's doing it on the next level, and that's what you want to see as a New York Giant fan. And not only that, Darren Waller is showing up.
We saw Darren Waller,
98 yards, 14 yards per catch and a touchdown. You even saw Saquon going for 21 rushes and 77 yards. This Giants offense plays differently without Daniel Jones. You look over to the sideline. Brian Daboll's not throwing his headset. He's not throwing the tablet. It's just such a stressless kind of situation over there when it's not Daniel Jones. But unfortunately, business is business. They're going to play him. They paid him $40 million, but Tyrod Taylor is looking great. From a Commander's perspective, we all picked the Commanders. They let us down. You're thinking that they're playing a 1-win Giants team, that this team is going to just bull rush them. Jonathan Allen said it best. He says everything that I need to say. I'm tired of this shit. We keep fucking losing. It's been 7 years. So, Garry, I'm going to bring it to you next. The Lions lose to the Ravens 38-6.
Oh, wait, wasn't this a shocker, guys? Ravens come out and do Ravens things, stomp out the Lions, who've been on a roll this season. Obviously, last week we were all preaching them for them coming out and doing great so far this season, and they've been handling their business. But kind of remind me of the Dolphins in a sense where they got to get taught some lessons. There's some young bucks. They're just turning into the new Detroit Lions of the winning culture, and man, Lamar Jackson, bro, Lamar Jackson. I seen that stat today. I think we're forgetting. There's only 3 QBs who are in the NFL with an MVP. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Aaron Rodgers, who's obviously sitting out right now due to injury, and it is Lamar Jackson. That's the only guys. We talk about so many other guys, probably ahead of Lamar Jackson. And I was been talking about it so many times. I was hoping last year he'd go to another team. I was heartbroken when he comes back to the Ravens. So I really don't. I love watching this guy. Don't get me wrong. I actually love watching this guy, but I hate the jerseys in because it makes me have nightmares. And I'm happy we beat them a couple weeks ago and a week ago, but. Man, oh man, when Lamar Jackson's cooking like this, guys, when you don't know what he's doing and he's killing you from the pocket, just drilling passes left and right on the move, sitting in the pocket, then obviously we already know when he wants to run, ain't no one like him running the league. Been like that, that's already goated. You can give him that crown. I think from any quarterback we've seen him previously and after, they always give credit to Lamar Jackson, just being the number one guy. And, so that's, you got to give your tip your hat off for him. He should be in the MVP discussion because there's no really top tier guy this year. So his name should be thrown in that hat as well. And yeah, the Ravens chucking on. This is the scary Ravens team that people don't want to see in the playoff. This team right here that can do, who are flying around on defense like they usually do. Offense is cooking. And they got obviously a lot of guys like Zay Flowers and things of that nature. And let's see who I'm trying to. Gus Edwards. They got a lot of guys. So many guys caught the ball. Odell even had a go 49 yards. Bateman. There's so many guys that got with 38 points. And the Lions, man, this is a wake up call. This is a wake up call right here for the Lions. And when you get this type of beating, it's only one loss, but it's the NFL. When it's only one loss, a lot can be taken from this loss. And I still think the Lions are a good team, but it's not one of those losses. This is a much needed loss because they're riding high. And when they needed to get punched in the mouth because I don't think they're going to be riding high this long. So you want to get punched early in his mouth this season. They obviously control the division still pretty good. So this is a good matchup for the Lions and the Ravens. Shout out to the Ravens and getting it done. Lamar Jackson.
Talking about getting fucking punched in the mouth, Toddy. The Patriots lose to the Bills, 29-25.
McCorkle Jones leads a game-winning drive against the Bills, man. And I was very shocked by this game. I didn't bet on this game because I thought the line was way too high, and I was just I was scared of the Patriots. But and then we hear some rumblings about Bill getting like a very lucrative contract extension all of a sudden right before the game, and then something just seemed weird. You got Ezekiel Elliott punching in touchdowns, and he's looking like the old Zeke again. Max throwing the ball around, slinging the pill like a shady pharmacist. I feel like a bunch of Patriots fans are just super duper, they got that joy again. They got a little bit of bounce in their step. They didn't want, they beat a solid team at home. I think most of us picked the Bills to sweep the Patriots this year because we didn't think the Patriots would be that good. And Bill came out and showed you guys why he's still the greatest coach in NFL history, man. I don't need Brady. But
Told you.
Yeah, Bills get or the Patriots get a very solid win at home. Still 2-5, by the way.
We got another comment from our man Cass. Although my picks this week were terrible, there were 8 total upsets. I called the Giants to pull off it at home against the Commanders. Commanders are the definition of mid, and I completely agree. Talking about a definition of mid. The Cardinals lose to the Seahawks 20-10. This Seahawks team, bro, it's like watching.
Where's our guy Manny at?
It's like watching paint dry.
Is it?
I think they wrote back, Gino. It's not looking so good. I've been talking to Manny, asking him if the Gino didn't write off towards a hitter, a one-hit wonder, and if it's going to be able to continue. And they're finding ways to get wins. Yes, it's the Cardinals, the 1-4 Cardinals, the Cardinals with 2 first-round picks, the Cardinals who have no reason to be trying to win games. Kenneth Walker is continuing off his rookie campaign, rushing for 26 attempts for 105 yards, doing his thing. And another reason I wanted to get this Titan, because my man at the Ohio State, JSN, 4 catches, 63 yards, and get into the end zone. If he can continue to contribute to this receiving core with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, this could be one of the best wide receiver cores in the league. And I wouldn't be doing my friends up in Seattle any justice if I didn't talk about Jake Bobo. My man didn't know who he was for the game. Catches a touchdown to seal the game, 4 catches for 61 yards, 15.2 per catch. He went in there and did his thing. DK didn't play, so we saw a lot of people step up. Tyler Lockett went for 4 catches for 38 yards. So it's nice to see them. And, Manny and Toddy got a bet coming, if the Niners and Seahawks will split. And, it's getting closer and closer, so we're going to have to see. But since we're talking about favorite teams, Gary, I'm going to bring it to you next. Your Steelers beat the Rams 24-17 in LA.
Come on, y'all. I should have went to this game, too. I was thinking about it, y'all. Some things popped up, obviously, but couldn't go.
Thinking about that.
I was like, oh, it was in LA, too? I was like, we were going to take over that stadium. I knew that. Take over again. Come on now. And, man, I felt bad. Whoever plays in LA and Vegas, good luck trying to have some home crowds over there. But, man, the Steelers, man, good game for my team coming off a bye. I knew that after coming off a bye, our coaches are going to have them prepared, man. That's 2 weeks for Mike T to, get prepared for a team. He's going to have his team ready. Bless you, Vaughn. And to be honest with you, this was a good game from Kenny, guys. 230 yards, 17 for 25, efficient, no picks. That's the main thing, no picks. And Matthew Stafford, throwing 1 TD, 1 interception. They're looking like they should. They're 3-4 Rams. I think the Rams should tank to go get Caleb. I'm not gonna lie. Funny thing is, I was hanging out with some Rams fans this weekend, and you ain't got no picks. Also, funny thing, not even that. I think the Rams. Oh, he didn't even mention them on the team. His list. Didn't he got a list on? He didn't mention the Rams. So that's funny. He didn't even mention the Rams, his home team. So that's kind of a little shame. Maybe he knew they didn't have no picks. Who knows? And Najee Harris only 53 yards, but 2 TD from both were running backs. So, they were both playing physical, so that was good. Obviously, it's not. They didn't look like they ran the ball as well, but they were playing physical when we needed it to play physical. George Pickens looking like that guy. I'm not gonna lie, he's making those great catches 1-on-1, and we've been throwing him just up the seam, fade routes 1-on-1, and boom, he's been winning those majority of the time. And we haven't. I think it's the first time I get to see 300 yards of offense this week. So, we're trending upwards, Vaughn. We're not like the world beaters, obviously, like where you guys, I know you guys been stomping on my team since y'all both picked him to make the fucking playoffs. Excuse my language. Both made the playoffs. Y'all been calling him JV ever since. We looking 4-2. Had a couple rough weeks, but hey, the culture's strong. You guys, hey, come on now. TJ Watt, come on now.
That boy does everything.
I don't even know. I forgot even look. We put across another dub. Come on now. We're looking at 5-2.
I don't know. Minshew Mania. I don't know about that.
All I know is TJ Watt, but my defense hitting on all cylinders. When they're cooking, they don't got to be out there too much. They don't feel like they're the offense too. You seen him get interception. He should be in the defensive player of the year and candidate again this year because he gives us wins. Him and the guy I'm over here forgetting his name. Obviously, I'm not thinking about the Dallas guy. No Niner guy. Who is the guy in the Browns right now? How am I forgetting the name?
PJ Walker?
Huh? No, who's the defensive guy? How am I forgetting his name right now? He be getting the hoop super huge. I'm forgetting his name right now. Oh my god. Anyways, Myles Garrett. There you go. Myles Garrett. Him and my guy are really the guys who change our team's fortunes in terms of can get W's on the defensive end. Right now they're prime timing right now. Those two guys. So.
I think
give my guy some credit.
The front runner for Defense Player of the Year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because we had no offense, man. He's been creating offense for us, literally.
What a fucking interception!
Was nuts.
Exactly.
Was nuts. Ran
exactly. And he don't do that too. Usually, he's after the quarterback. So boom, exactly. So my guy being diverse, so I just want to give him some credit. So Mike T, man, my coach had him in line. We're gonna fight every game, y'all. We're gonna just bad week one. I'm not gonna horrible week one versus Niners, horrible. But after that, we've been fighting every week, guys. Let's go, Steelers.
So, Toddy, I'm going to bring it to you last. Best quarterback in the division, Jordan Love, loses to the Denver Broncos 19-17.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch this game because I was watching the Steeler-Rams game, and the Steelers fucked me on the parlay. That's neither here nor there.
Come on, Vonny.
But I was kind of looking back and forth to see. I saw that the Broncos were pretty much up that entire game, but then I was like, uh-oh, here come the Pack, and they're coming back. Just the way that I've kind of been seeing how you know, how the Packers kind of call the game for Jordan Love. It's kind of like they're afraid for him to throw the ball downfield, and they'd rather, more play action, have him get a little bit more comfortable in the offense. I mean, Jordan Love, he threw for 180 yards, so not really that good. Aaron Jones kind of still slowly coming back from injury, so they split the carries with him and A.J. Dillon. It's just like this offense is not bad. Like, you got Christian Watts. You got playmakers on this offense. Aaron Jones, I get he's coming off an injury, but I feel like Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, like they got some dudes out there that can make a ton of plays. Saw Aaron Rodgers kind of, last year, albeit they didn't make the playoffs. I feel like this offense was a little bit better when Aaron Rodgers was there. Obviously, he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but older, I get it. But do the Packers kind of have to start thinking about, hey, okay, guys, you got me. You caught me red-handed with my Packers pick. Said the Packers were going to win the division, go 10-7, make the playoffs. It ain't happened. Jordan Love's not the best. You got me, okay? Caught me red-handed here. But do the Packers kind of start thinking, damn, do we need to go back and look for a quarterback in this draft?
We can't do that.
Because
after 3 years investing this guy, oh man, that'd be so funny.
I mean, it's they gave him a contract extension, but it was like what, a couple of years? Yeah, it was like it's not really insane. It's not like you're tied to the guy, but it's like you're looking at this QB draft coming up. It's like there's a couple of guys in there that hey, Penix,
could fall.
There's Penix, there's McCarthy coming in. There's
his name.
If Shador, I feel like Shador's not coming out this year, but he's a possible candidate. So, there's some guys coming out that I don't know if the Packers will be, in that top 1-2 range, but, maybe 10, 8-ish, because they, maybe move up to get a guy. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't know. It's hard to lose. Broncos, Packers, it was basically another mid-off. Russell Wilson didn't do any better. He threw for 194 yards. So they ran the ball really well, though. Javonte Williams had 82 yards rushing. So, and then McLaughlin, he had 45 yards rushing. So, I just it's tough. It's really tough to watch both of those teams play. And I feel like, are the Broncos back? Are Broncos country right now?
Hell no.
I think we can all say no.
Don't start the narrative again.
So, yeah, Broncos beat the Packers, I guess, mid-off. They got the Chiefs next week again, so good luck with that.
I almost got them in Denver, so we'll see. So, switching it up here on episode 58 of Stats Over Politics. My name is Kevin Den, joined by my man Gary and Toddy. We are going to switch it up now. We are going to switch it into basketball. As you guys know, every Friday, 7:30, we are doing our basketball-only podcast. But Gary wanted to get some stuff off his chest, so we're going to give him that platform to do it. So we are going to cover the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and Finals predictions. So, Gary, I'm going to give it to you first. Give me your Western Conference Finals predictions and why.
Oh, yep. I'll be making some of these Friday pods, according to work, but I just wanted to get my stamp real quick before the season starts tomorrow, guys. We got, got a lot of teams cooking up the West and East. I mean, you know me, I'm a big basketball guy. It's not my favorite first sport, but I do love watching football more.
Sport.
Hey, that used to go crazy when they play that round of 2K, right when it starts in the beginning of the 2K. Oh, yeah. Man, only the good old days. But so I was looking, man. I was like, there's a lot of tough picks. I was like, should I pick a sleeper? Should I pick, who should I pick, man? This is preseason, obviously, so we're going to see. I think I'm going to start with the East, guy. I'm going to start with the East. I think there's really no other way to go with the East so far in preseason. Is determined, obviously, all the trade stuff and all the summer acquisitions these teams made. I'm first going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they're going to be taking on Von's team and the Boston Celtics. I think those two are going to be the showdown. We're already looking for it at the beginning of the year. You probably can run this back. It's probably going to be a lot of things happening in between there. Probably have Miami in there just trying to shake things up. Philadelphia somehow, if Embiid can be healthy, he can shake something up. That's how great he is. If Cleveland somehow, You guys seen your guys in power. They got a lot of young bucks who can get together, and if some guys step up, they can really make some noise. But those two teams have championship pedigree. Those two teams has won a championship in the Milwaukee Bucks before. The Boston Celtics, as we know, Von knows, they've been knocking on the door many, many times in the last decade, to be honest with you. So their time is coming, but Von, it won't be time just yet. Dame time is taking his time to the NBA Finals. They get to see him on prime time finally. I think Dame's going to be the one to do the bye-bye the first time in the Eastern Conference. He's going to have a big-time show out in the finals right there, because I think he's going to be – a lot of people have been sleeping on him. He's been in Portland where Kev's at. A lot of people go sleep early around the nation, Kev. You already know that. So they don't get to watch you guys with Seahawks and the Trailblazers and things of that nature up there. So he's been cooking up there big time. I think Giannis proves again that he's the best player on earth, and he takes that crown back from Jokic. And then I think that's what's coming out the East. Now we're going to go to the West side real quick. Oh, man, this is hard, man, because I'm not going to lie. We all know I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. I love my guys. We're going to do great. We're going to predict a great season, obviously. But, obviously it's Kev, me and Kev are LeBron fans as well. You know what I'm saying? So we always support LeBron and wherever he goes, just because that's where fandom comes from. Straight up, that's how it goes. We're talking about things we love here. So we're talking about sports and people that inspired us. LeBron's always inspired me. I always said LeBron gave me more happiness than the Kings ever did majority of my life. Till now. But I got the Lakers, man. I got the Lakers. I think the Lakers are going to be in the Western Conference Finals. I think this team is somehow, some way, Kevin. I don't know how they did it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. From looking from last year, they were looking no man's land in terms of what do we do with Russell Westbrook? What do they do with Russell Westbrook? This team can't play that defense as much as well as before. They don't got that many shooters. LeBron needs shooters. And over time, they have acquired guys from Reeves and then Russell. I feel like they can use him this year. I feel like he obviously had a bad ending to the playoffs against the Nuggets, but I think he's gonna have a bounce back year for sure. And I think LeBron, still year whatever. Now I lost track. Year 21, 22. I forgot now, but he's looking like him. 21. him, and I think my second team. And I wanted to lean on the champions. I'm not going to lie. I feel disrespecting the champion. I wanted to go Denver Nuggets. I feel Jokic is him. Who's going to be the answer for Jokic? But I'm not going to lie, Vaughn. They lost a couple guys. Bruce Brown they lost. I feel like it's going to be a major key. We never know if Michael Porter's going to be healthy. He's a great guy. He played great in the playoffs. We don't ever know he's going to be healthy. I just feel like those one or two losses they lost this offseason, they're going to lean on new guys. But I don't know if those guys are just ready just yet. And I just feel like this team that I'm about to point out, they got enough firepower for everyone's health. You already know it's all if healthy, obviously. But if they got the firepower cooking, I don't know who's going to stop him. Jokic can do all he wants in the paint versus him, but the Phoenix Suns, what are you going to do with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant? And one thing that's, Kevin Durant has been to, those two teams. And when he went to the Brooklyn teams, obviously when they had James Harden and Ben Simmons and Kyrie, during that time, I'm not trying to say those weren't winning players and things of that nature. I think Kyrie obviously won a championship. He's a winning player. James Harden, I feel like even though he hasn't won a championship, he's still a winning player in the sense of he wants to win for his team. And you don't really hear bad things about his team. You might hear bad things from the organization, but you might hear bad things from his teammates majority of the time. He just likes to have fun. That's what guy in his prime don't like to have fun, Vaughn. But at the end of the day, I feel like he got guys on his team right now that are just all basketball. Beal wants to come win. He's been in Washington losing, so he wants to straight up win. Want to put his talents on a big stage, just kind of similar to Dame does in the sense. It deserves that because he is great. And his key is going to be: is he going to be what option is he going to be, and is he going to be able to bind on the defensive end? Booker sticking it out in Phoenix, but becoming the man there now, leading the team, all about ball, just wants to win as well. And KD, we already know he's always about ball. No matter what anyone says, he wants to be. As our KD comes back, I'm just talking about KD, perfect timing. Kev talking about Durant, and he's all about winning. And I feel like he wants to change the culture. I think they're going to be knocking on the door. They're all in their still prime in a sense, I feel like. And their things are being about defense, but I feel like they got some good guys on the bench, and they got some guys that are going to, show forth, I feel like, hopefully, in the prime time comes around. But I got the Lakers. LeBron in his last run. I got to do it, Vaughn. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I had to do it. I put my pick again like last year. I got LeBron beating KD again, going to his fifth chip. AD, Anthony Davis going crazy this final season. I got LeBron showing Giannis one last time for your lead, bucko. Just like, I don't know. He's basically what Tom Brady did to Patrick Mahomes in a sense. But it's not your time just yet, buddy. Hold off. Get my 5th ring. I'm putting 5 out there too. 5th ring. Call it a day. Stamp it. The GOAT conversation is stamped out for this one. It's still right. It's probably 60-40 my way. I think LeBron, but in probably public way, it's probably still 60-40. I feel like Mike in the overall viewpoint. Maybe that's just what I consume, but I feel like it is. But this right here is going to swing the whole thing. LeBron James winning a championship the year he's in. Taking this team with Anthony Davis being great. They got the depth for this team. Key point too, they got some trade assets too, somehow, some way, with the contracts they have. So if they do want to flip something, if DeMar DeRozan saying that, if he's a little bit unhappy, just saying. They got a lot of defensive guys too. So I think they pull it together. I think the Lakers just stamp it one more time. And LeBron James gets his 5th ring over Giannis and Dame.
I love to hear it. So Todd, I'm gonna bring it to you next. Let us hear your WNBA, NBA Conference Finals and NBA Finals preview on the Eastern and Western side.
I just think that what Garry was saying was, pure fandom, and he's a real Laker fan, an Laker fan. Our LeBronologists are showing their true colors right now. But going back to what he was talking about, Eastern Conference, I feel like most people that think the world kind of has all the universal pick of Celtics versus Bucks. I think it's going to be. They do. I was scared of that. Yeah, I think it's going to kind of remind me. I think it was 2 years ago when the Celtics went to the finals. I think it's going to be similar to that. When the JT had the 50-point game in Game 6 to kind of push us to a Game 7, which we ended up kind of blowing them out. That was the game Grant Williams hit like 7 threes, and I was like, "Oh my God, Grant Williams is the next guy." Blah blah blah. But I think the Celtics get over the hump and they still beat the Bucks. It's probably going to go 7 games in my opinion, and we get back to the finals. As for the Western Conference, fandom, huh? Yeah. Oh no, yeah, I'm fanboying all the way. As for the Western Conference, I think that it could go either way. It's just really going to depend on like how the seeding goes. Kind of like who's going to be like number 1. Is it going to be
in the West?
Yeah, in the West.
Oh yeah, don't run into my Kings now. We might knock down.
I think the Nuggets and the Suns meet each other in the Western Conference Finals. I think Jokic. Garry kind of pointed it out in his analysis. I think the Suns. No one really will have an answer for them offensively because they'll be able to score. They got guys that can go for 30 pretty much any given night. But it's gonna all kind of where it come down to the inside game. Who's gonna be able to stop Jokic? Nobody has an answer for Jokic. Nurkic is gonna guard him. Nurkic?
No, he's not.
Aiden had no answer for him. So
Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo, Yuta Watanabe. Like, what are we talking about?
I think they're gonna miss those key shots they missed last year, though.
So, it's just tough, man, because I don't think the Phoenix.
Golden State. Too,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Garry listened to the pod. I think the Warriors, they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to really get far at all. Just based off of scoring. I feel like they're one-dimensional now. Klay Thompson. We'll get into that a little later. But I think the Suns. I think the Nuggets beat the Suns in like 6 games.
I can see, man. Nuggets, you can't. The
Nuggets are tough, man. And I just saw they only lost like 2. They lost like 4 games in the playoffs last year. They lost the 1 to Timberwolves. They lost 2 to the Suns because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. If they're both scoring 40 points in both those, like it's tough to beat. And then they lost the one in Miami. So I mean, they were very hard to beat in the playoffs in general. So. And you got Jokic coming back for his 82-game business trip, so he can be away from his horses. And then his season's going to get extended again because they're going to go to the playoffs again. And I think the Celtics get him in the finals. And I think Celtics win in 6 games.
All right. So now we heard Toddy. We heard Jaevon. Now it's time for Cap to get on the track. We're going to start off in the East. I have a different Eastern Conference Finals. Like Toddy mentioned, I think the seeding is going to be huge. We've seen the Celtics hit injury blocks, just hit mental roadblocks, trying to chase that number 1 seed, and they can possibly finish with the 3 seed. and have to play the Bucks in the second round. And I have the Bucks going on to play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to take that next step and take them to where he didn't take the Jazz. Unfortunately, the road stops here. The Imani Bates hype train stops here. And I have the Bucks going on to the finals. In the Western Conference, I have a rematch. The Lakers versus the Nuggets. And this time, as Toddy's sucking his lip with his hand on his face, we're going with the fucking LeBron James-led Lakers. Magic Johnson Award winner. LeBron James versus the Bucks. Giannis, it's not your turn yet. LeBron's going to kiss that Larry. Why you been cheating on me, baby? Just like you did. And LeBron's going to walk off with the finals MVP with another.
No, we might have to give to AD. This one might be AD.
No, you had your turn. This is going to LeBron. 5 finals MVPs, 5 rings. LeBron James is the man.
40, Kevin.
Hey.
He was looking for
third team All NBA at 39.
Hey, that season, a little preview, the preseason they had when their first quarter playing the Suns versus Lakers. I watched that. Oh, Katie and him was going at it. I liked it. I missed that.
That'd be crazy if LeBron was at 40. You got it. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm admitting, guys. Preseason changed my prediction. I only watched one game. I only watched one game.
Don't do it. I picked the Packers to win the division in the preseason.
And the Saints to go to the NFC Championship.
I was going to say Denver, Kev. I was going to go with you with Denver versus the Lakers, but I was, you know what? Phoenix, man, they didn't have a full year last year. It wasn't ready.
I wanted to pick Phoenix so bad, but I'm just like, bro, they can't play defense. The Nuggets.
Yeah, I think they got a little more defense now.
No, they have no answer for Jokic.
I mean, no one got no arguments for Jokic, though. Come on now. No one got no answer.
That was the thing last year when Booker and Durant were going crazy. They couldn't stop freaking Jokic.
They got Eric Gordon. I said Damian Lee. I'm just looking at the additions. I'm okay. Watanabe. These guys are the shooters again. See, it's just
sport flavor.
Grayson Allen.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out now that we all have our takes on tape. We can look back at this, see where things are next summer. But moving on, we are doing fact or cap today. So we talked a lot about this guy early in the topics. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. So Toddy, I'm going to go to you first. Fact or cap? The Chargers are wasting Justin Herbert's career.
I wouldn't say necessarily they're wasting it, but he's already on a second coach, and it's looking like Staley's going to end up getting fired. So I'll say cap for now because Phillip Rivers was really good in this, Chargers, San Diego, LA. He won a lot, and I think Herbert has that, if not more talent than Phillip Rivers did. Their team is too good. I feel like if they just find the right coach, Herbert will be contending, to win, championships, this, that, and the third. But for right now, it's not looking good. But I'll say cap for now. I don't think that they're wasting Justin Herbert's career. I just feel like he just needs to find the right coach, and they'll pretty much reach new heights once a new regime gets put in place.
All right, Gary, I'm going to bring it to you next. Fact or cap? Are the Chargers wasting Justin Herbert's career?
I'm gonna say cap. They're not wasting his career just yet. They're on the verge of wasting his career. That's most definitely right. It's giving me Phillip Rivers vibes, which obviously I think Justin Herbert's way better than Phillip Rivers, but it's the whole when you're on a bad team, you look bad, but you might put the numbers up and people are going to start putting you in that category, and people are starting to put, the Justin Herbert haters, which I am not. I'm a Justin Herbert supporter, but the haters are starting to put him in that category of, wins are not adding up, putting up stats.
Yeah,
and like Von mentioned, yeah, exactly. And it's not him. He's making throws, trying to win the game. He's trying to win the game. If you watch the Chargers, he's trying his hardest to win this game. And he's trying to do great things, but at the end of the day, you could tell he's a little bit held back in coaching. So that, in a sense, that is wasting his career. But I wouldn't say it's a waste just because he just signed his new deal, I think, this offseason, right? So they still got a good runway with him to fix it. Why good? Like we mentioned earlier, they're paying the ticket. They're paying the players. They're bringing guys in. We mentioned so many times, they're bringing the all-stars in for him to win. So I don't really want to put full blame on Justin, nor I want to put on the Chargers. It's got to fall on somebody, and I hate doing this. Like we mentioned earlier, it's kind of going back to him again, but at the same time, it's going back to the coach. And you hate to put it on the coach. I hate doing that, but at the end of the day, it's the coach. But I don't think they're wasting it just yet. They're not wasting it just yet. But yeah, the coach and the coaching needs to be fixed up here because it's not. Some of these games are winnable and they're not winning. Simple as that. And it should be more in these games with the talent they have and they're not winning. Simple as that.
Factor cap. The Chargers are wasting Justin Herbert's career. I'm going to go fact. Garry mentioned that they're bringing in all these weapons. They're bringing in the defense to support him when he's struggling. And in Jacksonville, where were they at in the playoffs? They did not support him. Justin Herbert is 27-28, including the playoffs. No active quarterback has more losses since Justin Herbert since he joined the league in 2020. Justin Herbert is struggling in Los Angeles. He is putting up the numbers, 105 touchdowns to 39 picks in his career, averaging 285 passing yards a game. Like Toddy mentioned, they're having a shuffleboard effect when it comes to the head coaches. They had Anthony Lynn. They didn't even give him a chance. They brought in Brandon Staley. We've seen that Kellen Moore came in. We talked about it earlier in the show. Is this kind of the replacement? Is this kind of how things are going to go? He's had 3 different offensive coordinators. There's just been no consistency. We talked about the importance of an offensive coordinator to a coach, to a quarterback. We talked about Jalen Hurts losing his offensive coordinator and how that affected him. We talked about the impact that Sam Howell is now going to have with Coach Bieniemy there. The offensive coordinator and head coach have to be a right fit in order to properly develop a quarterback. We've seen so many quarterbacks just done it wrong because they just had bad coaching. Justin Fields, for example. So we're going to have to see him in a better situation, not being traded, but like Toddy said, they're just going to have to shake the tree and see what falls out and continue to do whatever they can to support him. Kaz is in the comments. He says, Cap, he has a solid roster to work with than other teams. That other teams would kill for it. If you have to rely on a super team to win, that's just pathetic. They just need some slight adjustments. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Chargers do, the little things. So, Garry, I'm going to bring it to you next. Factor cap. The Browns regret trading for Deshaun Watson. Let me give you some background on this trade. They traded 3 first-round picks, 1/3, and a 4th. They got Deshaun Watson and a 6th back in fourth. In 10 games that they have had Deshaun Watson, he has thrown for less than 2,000 yards and completed less than 60% of his passes. On average this season, he's averaging 170 yards per passing. Let me tell you some guys that average more than 170 yards per passing. Daniel Jones at 177. Zach Wilson, 182 yards per game. Ryan Tannehill. Gardner Minshew, Joshua Dobbs, and then we have the elites of the elites when you go Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. But I really wanted to target those bottom quarterbacks because when you pay somebody $235 million, you're expecting better. So, Garry, factor cap, the Browns regret trading for Deshaun Watson.
Shockingly, the way you set it up, Kev, it would sound like I'd go fact, but man, I got to go cap for this one just yet again. It's kind of on my first one why I went cap. It's the pump the brakes this year. He's playing bad for sure, not playing great. You had to think about interception, threw 5 passes the other day, both hurt, boom, boom. Hasn't been playing too much this season already. Got injured last year. We already know he dealt with a whole bunch of stuff too as well, not just that. So before he came into this season, but he has had some, obviously when he was the Texans, before his whole debacle happened and things of that nature, off the field stuff happened. He was doing some great things. Even though they did lose a game versus KC on the comeback, but he was changing life in Texans, and we're seeing some greatness out of him. And so, going through that off field, you put the toll on you, I bet, and not be able to focus on football and that being your number one priority takes a toll on you. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt still. And I'm going to say that he's going to get together hopefully by the end of the year. And we're going to see flashes of him because you got to think about it's only 6 games really since, he's been playing since a year and a half. And I remember I was saying I'll at least give him till the half a year, 75% to see a little bit glimpses. The bad thing is we haven't seen no glimpses, Kev. We haven't seen no glimpses. That's the issue. You want to see a little bit something that can give you some hope. So the Browns, I feel like from the get-go, the whole league said you guys are idiots, as per usual, and they got to be happy that they're 4-2 and winning with this defense that they have. But they're idiots because they gave him a fully guaranteed when he didn't deserve it, and especially what he came off of not being a role model citizen off the field. Simple as that he didn't deserve that as well. So the league, Lamar was waiting for his money. Like, this guy got it, 100% guaranteed. I got to get 100% guaranteed. That's how it's been going. And they all just chalked it up to that's the Browns being the Browns, guys. Sorry, QB. They're the idiots of the field. We're not going to follow their way. We're not going to follow their trend. So, yeah, we're not going to pay the next guy because they don't want to start that trend. You know how that was going to go. I was going to start doing 100, 100, 100. Then, boom, you're going to see a receiver get 100. They don't want to start that NFL. That's what they're not. That's what they're not. They're not trying to be the NBA, which is sad because you would think how much gruesome stuff they go through on that field and how much they get smacked. They don't get to have 100% guaranteed money, which they should. So what they put the bodies through. So it's cap. They're not regretting it just yet. They're regretting the trade stuff like you mentioned. They're regretting that for sure. Looking back at it, they get way too much up, especially the situation he was in. The hell? You could have got him for way less. The Texans didn't want to deal with him, so they were going to give him for way less. So they gave him for what they had Baker Mayfield at the time. So they really wanted to get off that. So they paid a hefty price to get off that. So but I don't think they're regretting him as a player just yet. I think they're going to give him a little more time, but they for sure regretting the trade in terms of the details. Since day one, that was looking dumb. It's looking real dumber now.
Toddy, I'm going to bring it to you next. Factor cap. The Browns are regretting trading for Deshaun Watson.
Absolute fact. He looks god-awful, and I don't know what it is. Is this just another Russell Wilson type? I feel like it's literally identical to Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson was old. This guy's old.
Yeah, the contract, how he's been playing, you kind of look at his previous the situation. It's like apples to oranges. Apples to oranges. I feel like it's the exact same thing. Deshaun Watson, they kept him out of the game. He was cleared to come back in the game, but they clearly let him sit with his big ass jacket on indoors on the sideline while PJ Walker pretty much won them the game. I don't know, man. Just Deshaun. The whole, fiasco that happened with him off the field. He's not the same player that he once was. Him being in Houston, he was like a top 6-7 quarterback when he was in Houston, winning playoff games with the old Billy O'Brien. But there wasn't really like an injury that kind of like deterred him or anything like that. He kind of just missed a bunch of games.
He did have injury before he got to it. Remember, before he got scandal, he did get a little injured, I think, and his surgery or something. He
was out for the 12 games, and then the whole offseason happened. He had everyone saying, with the whole offseason, the Browns team could be, pretty dangerous, and they just been dangerously bad. And Deshaun Watson, I mean, the Browns are stuck with that $230 million contract. They traded all those picks away for him. The Browns are stuck, man, and I don't think Deshaun Watson is any good. I mean, I feel like this is just what he is now, and it's shocking to say. I was just like, kind of just, I can't believe that he's this bad. Like, what happened? I don't know what happened. So, I think this is a fact for sure.
Uncle Manny says Deshaun's just not the same without the massages. Factor cap. The Browns regret trading for Deshaun Watson. I'm going to say fact. Not only because he's playing bad, because of the opportunity with those 3 first-round picks. We see that they have holes in receivers. We see that they have holes in their secondary. Myles Garrett is single-handedly carrying this defense. They have Denzel Ward. They could have other pieces on this team. They could use other pieces with those first-round picks, but because they went in for Deshaun Watson, now looking back at it, he's not playing the way you guys want him to. They're sitting there watching the PJ Walker go in there and win games. That's not what you paid your guy to do. You didn't pay him to sit there with a big jacket indoors. You just didn't do it. You paid for a top 5 quarterback. You paid for Deshaun Watson up 28 AFC Championship game versus the Chiefs. That's what you paid for, and you haven't gotten it. So your return on investment is shit. So factor cap, you have to go fact. They're regretting it 100%. So before we dive into college football, this is episode 58 of Stats Over Politics. This is Kevin Dent, joined with my man Jaevon, Toddy, and Garry. Garry is going to be signing off for us for the night. So Garry, if there's anything else you want to get off your chest, go ahead and get it off.
Hotline, go catch that. That's going to be cooking. You better go catch my picks too, because we cooking on this side too over here. Go Steelers. Basketball tips off this week. Let's go King. Let's go Stats Over Politics. Kill it, my guys. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Appreciate it. So, all roads lead back to Kevin Vaughn. I wish everyone could have been here for this, but the fact that it's just me and you just makes it that much more special. Toddy, number 14, Utah beats number 18, USC. So before I spin it to you, I'm just going to come out here and say a few things. Since Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams have teamed up in SoCal, they are now 0-3 against Utah. and they are 17-2 against everybody else. This is Lincoln Riley's second year in a row losing 2 back-to-back games in a row. Toddy, what are your thoughts?
Well, not really much to think. I have no idea why this Vegas had us minus 260. Like, we were like heavy favorites in this game, coming off of a loss to Notre Dame. I get the whole aspect. You get embarrassed on national television going back home, and you're going to bounce back. But it's Utah. This is not a team that we have proven to beat in the Lincoln Riley era. This is not a team that you just come in, oh, we're going to bounce back against Utah. Utah is Kyle Whittingham is one of the best head coaches in the Pac-12, maybe even in the country. But for us to be heavy favorites over a team that we have not beat with this new head coach and this new regime, it was very mind-boggling to me. And I get we're playing against a third-string quarterback, first of all, and we can't. The defense is, when I say piss poor, it is just horrendously terrible how bad this defense is. Defense cannot hold water. I'm telling you this right now. When we scored with 30 seconds left, I was like, there's way too much time on the clock. This defense can't, and we're only up 3. When we didn't get the 2 point, I was like, fuck, bro. We might lose. Because this defense is not good. Like, anybody can move the ball us. The backup quarterback for Arizona put up 45 points against them. We had to go into double overtime to beat them. The third string quarterback threw for like 350 and like 3 touchdowns. It's like, this team is not serious on how bad that, like, they don't want to win, because this defense has been proven time and time again that they can't stop anybody. People are going to kind of come after Caleb and say, oh, the Caleb Williams start, blah, blah, blah. Caleb threw for like 250. Like, he put us in a position to win the game. Like, he didn't have any turnovers in this game. Like, he didn't play bad necessarily, but he didn't like have that 6 touchdown game that everybody's kind of accustomed to. So everybody's going to kind of go back and look at the stats. Oh, it can't be Utah. It can't be this. Like, if you look at Caleb's stats in like those Utah games, he threw for like 350, 400, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. And then in this game, he didn't throw for any touchdowns. But if you look at the stats in all 3 of those losses, they weren't on him, because the defense literally can't stop anybody. And in one of those games, he actually got hurt. He had a hurt hamstring in one of those games. So for everybody saying that Caleb Williams is not this, that, and the third, like, let's slow down on that. Like, Caleb is still generational talent. He's going to go number 1 overall if he decides to go out in the NFL draft. But it just kind of just comes back to Alex Grinch and this defense, our defense coordinator, Alex Grinch, our defense coordinator. Yes, I'm a USC Trojan fan. Obviously, you see that I didn't put them on the hotline because I'm just like, I can't bet on this team anymore, bro. Like, it's just like they prove time and time again, like, our schedule is not going to get nothing but harder after this. It's going, like, we play Cal next week. That's probably going to be a bounce back game for us. But then it's Oregon, Washington, and then I think we play UCLA, and I'm pretty sure we play Oregon State. I might be wrong about that, but like, we might lose all of those games because we can't stop anybody, bro. Like, it's like, we can put up 60, but we're going to get up 75. That's just like the nature of this defense. That's the nature of what Lincoln Riley's kind of been. Like, he does not take defense seriously at all. And I feel like I get Alex Grinch is like his friend and his buddy and all that. He brought him from Oklahoma, but he has to go. Like, this is just bad. And like, our recruiting is kind of coming down a little bit to where like we're not getting like the top picks. And I don't know how we're not doing that in the NIL era. Like, you don't want to play in, like, who doesn't want to go to LA and play for the USC Trojans? Like, Pete Carroll was paying players before NIL. Like, before all this shit happened, we had all Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, all those guys, Lindell White. Everybody was wanted to come to USC. We had Snoop Dogg, Will Ferrell, all those guys on the sideline. Like, it was match made in heaven when people wanted to come and play for USC. But now we can't freaking recruit anybody, and our defense sucks. And it's just like, we're going to the Big Ten next year, and like, bro, I'm not looking. How are we, if we can't beat teams like this in the Pac-12 right now? The Pac-12 I feel like has been the best conference in college football this year. Just based off of how everyone's been playing. But like, we have to play Michigan, we have to play Penn State, we have to play Ohio State. Like, all those guys are on our schedule next year. Like, it's only going to get tougher from here. And so, I don't know, man. It's been tough. Like, if anyone asked me, like, should you bet on the Trojans? I'd say, fuck no, don't bet on the Trojans right now. Like, it's bad. Even next week when we play Cal, like, I can't bet that game. It's bad. Like, we look terrible. We lost our third string quarterback. We can't beat Utah. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah, man. Well, you took all my notes right off of here, and I imagined you were going to come in here and do your thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the Ohio State beating Penn State 20-12. Kyle McCord. All Toddy's been saying is, I need to see Kyle McCord do it. Back-to-back weeks, he's coming and shown that he can play in the big games. 22 of 35, 286 yards with 1 touchdown. And then we have the Heisman. Just ship it to Columbus. Ship the Heisman to Columbus. Marvin Harrison, 11 catches, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. Becomes the first wide receiver in Ohio State history with 6 games of 160 plus. The first receiver at wide receiver U, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. The list goes on and on and on. For the first person to be Marvin Harrison to have that historic line, shows that he's the real deal. Before this game, I don't know if you guys remember, but I have a screenshot of Toddy saying, Drew Allard, best quarterback in the Big Ten. And our defense heard that. I sent it to him. I said, hey, man, look at this. This is my co-host. He's going in. And they shut him down. So shout out to Zone 6, man. Looking at making him look real pedestrian. What were your thoughts on the Penn State-Ohio State game, Toddy?
It was pretty much a rock fight. The entire game was like 10-6 at halftime. So I don't think either of these quarterbacks played well. Like, Allard played he was bad today. But I think it just kind of puts Ohio State's defense on a higher pedestal. I think they're one of the best defenses in the country. They showed out for sure. I didn't think Kyle McCord played well either. I just think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is just that guy. And when you have a Ferrari, I guess, what were they calling him on the broadcast? It was like
Maserati Marv.
Maserati Marv. So it was, bro, he had 162 yards. Like, he's really good. Everybody, even people were saying after this draft that he could be a Heisman candidate, and he could go number 1 overall if there weren't so many quarterbacks in this draft class. But I feel like this Ohio State team is kind of proven time and time again that they're just better than Penn State. A lot of people were saying that James Franklin isn't a good coach. If you look his record against like Ohio State and Michigan, he pretty much loses to those teams, but pretty much outside of that,
he wins.
He's pretty much wins. But I mean, when you go up against those two, blue blood type schools, it's gonna be tough to beat for anybody. And Ohio State, they're third in the country. I think they're still third now, going after it. But this was one of those big games that were kind of on the schedule. You had Notre Dame, you had Penn State, and those would kind of be the games that kind of determine, like, if you win those games, you should be good into the playoff. But pretty much all roads lead to Michigan, and that's kind of like a more internal thing between Michigan and Ohio State. Like, the rivalry runs really deep between those two, and I'm pretty sure Kevin and Shaun can attest that a little bit more on how deep that rivalry is. But this was one of those big games that you had to kind of check the box if they want to make the Big Ten title game and, get to the college football playoff. And pretty much the last, test would be that Michigan football game. But as far as this game goes, I think, McCord, the stats show they throw for 286. I don't think he played that well early on, but, the defense got a bunch of stops. I think they held there was like a stat, like Penn State went like 2 for 19 combined third and fourth downs, like, for the entire game. If your defense is able to create extra possessions for you, I've said on this podcast before, you're going to be in good positions to win. So hats off to I'd say the real winner in this game is Ohio State defense and Marvin Harrison Jr. pretty much.
So that being our last college football topic, I just have one question for you. You're the college football head, so there's no one else I feel confident asking this question. Quinn Ewers goes down. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Are we going to see an Archie Manning appearance?
Has to be, man. This dude makes $5 million in NIL money, and he doesn't play. He's a freshman, bro. And he's like one of the
last
top
name.
Like, if you look at the NIL standing on how much money this dude makes, he makes that much money, and he's a freshman. He doesn't play. There's no way in hell he's not playing. I saw Sark kind of came out and say it's going to be a quarterback competition, but between him and I forget what the other guy's name is, something Murphy and Arch Manning. I feel like the whole state of Texas is begging and pleading that Arch Manning is going to be starting in the next game. I'm not sure who they play next. I think they have they play not Kansas. I don't think they play next week. They might have a bye next week. So, actually, Texas plays BYU, and it's going to be on ABC. And I feel like when they announce that Arch Manning is going to be starting this game, I feel like all eyes are going to be on that game, even though they're playing against BYU. This is technically it's a Big 12 game because BYU's in the Big 12 now. So I feel like a lot of people eyeballs would be on that game and see, what the future kind of holds for them. And they said that Quinn Ewers is going to be out for, I think, like
2 to 4.
Like it's going to be like a couple of weeks that he'll be out for. So I think it's the same shoulder that was kind of bothering him last year that he hurt in the Alabama game last year. And then he came back from, and then he was playing on it again. I think he re-injured it. So I feel like if Arch plays and he does well, I feel like
it's up. He ain't never coming out.
Yeah, I feel like he's never coming out after that. So, and Quentin Ewers is a guy coming out of high school, was the highest ranked, recruit. He was supposed to go to Ohio State. There's some NIL, kerfuffle, I would say, that he wasn't able to get his bag in Ohio. So he was like, fuck it, I'm just going back to Texas, back home where he's from, and then ends up going to Texas and playing. So a lot is at stake for Texas football now, having the loss against Oklahoma. I don't know if it hurts them as much because they're still ranked 7th. So
still got a chance.
They still definitely have a chance. And if they're able to, I feel like they will get to the Big 12 title game and ultimately face Oklahoma and win that game, they might be able to still make some noise and get into the college football playoff.
All right, Toddy. 4-0 on the hotline. Let's finish off the show the way we always do. Let's hand out some free money. So let the people know what you're cooking up this week.
Okay, so now that basketball's starting, I'm gonna raise it 2 more games. So we're gonna do 6 games in total. Last week, so the winners
are the hoop games gonna be played before Friday?
Yes, all the hoop games.
I was gonna say if they're not, you can save them for Friday. But
I was thinking about doing that, but we'll experiment. We'll see how it goes.
We're still early back and forth.
But so the winners for last week, we had Ohio State. We called them at -3, but the line jumped all the way to 4.5. And even if you would have them at 4.5, you still would hit because they won by 8 points. So Ohio State cashed. We had Missouri -7.5. I'm telling you, that was free money because South Carolina is just god awful. Spencer Rattler going to Missouri. I knew Missouri was going to be able to put up points because they've been averaging like 30 points a game, and South Carolina is just not good. I lost money on them earlier. I think the first hotline of the year we had South Carolina on there, and they destroyed us. So
South Carolina, I remember that.
The 7.5 was free money because they won like 39-12. They blew them the fuck out. Going into Sunday, the Ravens had the Ravens -3. That was free money. I mean, you didn't really have to sweat that. That was pretty much the entire game. I was talking to a loyal listener, also my cousin James, right before the night before. We were just like, he was like, man, I think the Lions, they're gonna come out. They're on fire, man. Laporta, Goff, the Lions, they just look good. And I'm like, Lamar, he's looked pretty good. They're like, they just came from the London game. They're gonna have jet lag, this, that, and third. I'm just like, I don't know. We'll come out and see. They blow them the fuck out. It was like 35-9, whatever that was. And then the last game was kind of like a cushion game for me because I was like, I knew that they were gonna win. Was the Eagles game? I had them -2.5 against the Dolphins. I already knew, just it was kind of match made that the Eagles were gonna win. Just Sunday Night Football. Them coming off of a bad loss to the Jets. I was like, Jalen Hurts is going to respond. Eagles aren't going to lose. And plus, they're at home, too. So I didn't think they were going to lose at all. You saw Meek Mill at the game. It was just, little thing. You seen Chad Ochocinco pretend to be a fan to Jalen Hurts. He was like, Jalen, oh my God, Jalen. Then he's like, what the fuck? And then he because he grabbed him. He's like, what the fuck? And then he saw it was Chad. And he was like, oh shit, what's up, man?
Get some security.
So it was that was cushion, and then we, had a good weekend. So got basketball back. I know Kev is a real hooper at heart. I know a lot of people know Kev played college basketball. He's like a real hooper. So I think we're all really excited that basketball's coming back. 82 games. This is kind of like the best time for sports because you got baseball going on, you got basketball and football. Pretty much everything's kind of going on at the same time. So we're gonna start off with tomorrow because there's 2 games tomorrow. You got the Lakers Nuggets, and you got the Suns, Golden State. I'm going to go with the Suns Golden State game, and I'm going to go with Phoenix +1. I'm kind of shocked that they're still +1 right now. I bought into the hype for Phoenix. I've already said previously in the podcast that they're going to make the Western Conference Finals, and I'm looking at this Golden State team. You're hearing some rumblings about Klay Thompson and his contract, and there's not really any talks that he's probably going to enter free agency after this year. Draymond Green's not playing either. I thought that would have made the line move, but the line's kind of been the same. And I just don't know where they're going to generate offense from besides Steph Curry. Yeah, they got Chris Paul, but I mean, you got 3 guys over here that's going to get average 30. So it's like, how are y'all going to, like, Kuminga's going to come out. Wiggins is going to do, where is the offense going to come from? And so I just feel like I trust Phoenix a little bit more, albeit they haven't played any games together, but it's just like they got 3 All-Stars on the team. And, the Warriors obviously have Steph Curry, but I just don't see where they're going to be able to generate offense from, especially against this team. You're going to have to put up like 130 to beat them. So definitely going to rock with the Suns +1 in that's -110. The second game is actually going to be on Wednesday, and Sacramento Kings are -1.5 against a Utah Jazz team that I'm not really high on. Me and Kev and Alex, go check out the last podcast, NBA season preview. The Utah Jazz, I think we're all kind of universally that we think that the Jazz are tanking in a sense because don't really know what direction that they're kind of going into, and I feel like the Kings have a lot of momentum going into this game, albeit they are going to be on the road. But the Kings are -1.5 against a team I feel like they just have better talent than. I feel like should be easy money, and I'm going to take the Kings -1.5. They just got to win by 2 points, and I feel like that's
easy.
I feel like it's easy money for me. So those are my 2 NBA games. College football this weekend is going to be a bit of a doozy. Very excited for what's to come this weekend because there's a lot of good games. I saw the game on Saturday. It is Georgia, Florida. That's one of the games that I did see. And I don't see any lines for college football yet. That's weird. Usually we have it up by now. I don't see anything. That is weird. There's no lines. We just do more basketball. I'm not even tripping out that. It's all good. Because I did have some other basketball games too for the hotline. All right. So we'll go back to Wednesday. I saw this is a good one. OKC versus Chicago. Chicago is a team that's kind of been, I don't know, man. They've just been very up and down. I've already been hearing rumblings about Billy Donovan's going to get fired if they kind of, enter that middle of the pack stage. I've even saw that they'd be willing to trade Zach LaVine if things get a little bit iffy. And I think this OKC team is probably going to make the playoffs. I have them. If you guys listen to the last podcast, making the playoffs. You guys got to go check out that last episode. Was dropping a lot of gems, a lot of fire in there. Go check that out. So, and then this is, Chet's pretty much not home debut. This is a season debut. I think Shay's going to do Shay. But I feel like that missing piece that they were missing is what Chet Holmgren is going to bring. And the Thunder are favored at -1. Definitely going to take a jab at the Thunder here with the -1, even though they're on the road. Chicago wasn't even a good team at home at all. So we're going to take Chicago. We're going to take OKC -1 here in the spot. So that is 3 games so far. Another game I'm really interested in is this New Orleans Pelicans versus the Memphis Grizzlies. It's a pick'em here, so it'd be basically it's anyone's ball game. So the odds are basically even on both ends. I don't know why, because John Morant's not playing, Steven Adams isn't playing. On the other hand, you got Zion Williamson, who's healthy. He's preseason. I know we all
They gotta
like,
see it
hey,
first.
I know preseason. Everyone's saying, hey, Zion, don't let this be, let this be a test to you. Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be this, that? We don't know. But I mean, he's not on the injury report, so he's going to be playing. CJ's playing. Brandon Ingram's playing. Pretty much everybody on the Pelicans is healthy, but it's still a pick 'em, which I don't know why. So it really didn't make sense to me. So I'm definitely going to rock with the Pelicans on this game too. So that's another game that I'm very high on. Another game that I'm very interested in, but I'm kind of a little iffy on, but I'm probably going to rock with it. We have the Boston Celtics. Got to rock with the Celtics here. They are favored by -3 over the New York Knicks. Knicks are a team that has been, they signed all of the, DiVincenzo. They're trying to get all the band back together. Knicks are rolling off of their playoff victory that they had in the first round of the playoffs last year, and then ultimately losing to the Heat in 6 games. I think this new look Celtics team is going to be fireworks with Jaylen Brown. I think it's probably going to average 24. Tatum's probably going to average like 26, 27. And you have that element in Porzingis, who I think is going to be able to stretch the floor. He said in, press conference that it's going to be a lot easier for him to be able to get shots. So I feel like Porzingis is going to be that other missing link that can average 20 points a game, probably average like 3 threes a game, be able to stretch the floor. He shot like 39% from 3 last year. So I think he's going to be able to, be that knockdown shooter for us and be able to get a bunch of buckets. And Drew Holiday, too. A lot of people don't realize he's going to be able to guard the best player, best wing guy. He can guard your best point guard, and pretty much hound them all game. And when Drew Holiday's on from 3, he can knock down threes.
Long
but
night.
Yeah. I don't really want him to be, that'd be like his main focal point for him to just be able to just shoot. I feel like I kind of just want him, if open shots are there for him, he should definitely take it. So I'm going to rock with the Celtics -3 here. Shoot. There's a couple of other games. I don't want to put this game on here, but fuck it. I'm gonna
games right now.
We're gonna get crazy. We're gonna go hockey here. For those that don't know, the group chat, I've been posting a couple of my winnings in there, and there's been a bunch of hockey on there. And I don't know, it's just hockey's just been crazy for me. A team that's been very hot is the Detroit Red Wings. I think their goaltending has been very, very pleasing. They've been scoring a lot of goals, and pretty much at home they've been unstoppable. I think they're 6-1 now. They play the Seattle Kraken. Kraken have been playing like dog shit lately, and I have no idea why. They went to the playoffs last year, and I thought that, that playoff energy would definitely surge into this year, but they haven't been playing well at all. But I love the Detroit Red Wings, and that would be a tomorrow game that starts at 5:00. So to recap everything, because the football lines are out right now, which is weird. We have the Suns at +1. We have the Sacramento Kings at -1.5. We have the New Orleans Pelicans as a pick'em, so that'd be -110. We also have the Oklahoma City Thunder at +1. Also have the Boston Celtics at -3. And then we have the Detroit Red Wings money line. So that's -137 that I see at BetOnline right now. But yeah, that's everything that I have for the hotline. That's 6 games, heavy basketball, because I don't see any football lines as of right now. If anything does change, I would listen to
We can put out a graphic. We can do something.
I was like, we could do a graphic, or we could do. I'll probably put something out for the Friday podcast. You guys got to tune in on Friday's podcast too. We got the NBA
twice a week. You guys were in the, like Ty says, we're in the business of creating content.
Yeah. So, 4-0 week last week. Maybe we'll go 6-0 this week. Let's go, baby. I'm excited.
Handing out free money. Once again, this is Kevin Dent, joined by my guy Jaevon. Ties episode 58 of Stats Over Politics. Make sure you guys turn on the notifications, leave a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're nothing without you guys. So we support. We completely appreciate your guys' support. You guys are rocking with us for our 2-hour shows. To see the viewership continue to rise, we appreciate you guys, and we can't be even more grateful. So, signing off here with Stats Over Politics. We will see you guys Friday at 7:30 for an NBA podcast. See you soon.
Peace.